So it's time to write the conclusion to your informative essay. Let's get started. Here's an important reminder. This is the portion of the essay that will leave a lasting impression on your reader. It's the last thing they're going to read, so we want to make sure it ends as nicely as it started. Your conclusion should mirror your introduction in a way. For example, if you started your intro with a scenario, like a what would you do if, try to find a way to tie it back into your conclusion in an interesting way. So for example, if I go back to this example essay that we read, what would you do if you were walking along when suddenly you see a 3-foot-long snake come slithering out right in front of you? I might try to find a way to put that into the conclusion, but now reminding the reader that they have tools and skills to overcome that fear. Just kind of ties it together nicely so that that story in the beginning comes back in the end. Another thing you need to do is restate the topic and why it's important, but don't just repeat your thesis statement. Reword it now that your reader has more background information. So for example, if your thesis statement was glossophobia is the fear of speaking in public, here's a way you can reword it in your conclusion. As you can see, glossophobia is a fear that can severely impact a person's life, especially if they need to speak in front of large groups. Make sense? Okay, in your conclusion, you also just want to restate your 3 main ideas one more time with a very short summary of them if you can. And again, in a conclusion, we're trying to word it differently so that you're not just saying them the same way you have earlier in your essay. So here was my example. When athletes push away their nerves and refuse to think about them, or when they are too focused on the outcome of the competition, they are actually causing the fear of choking under pressure. So this was me rewording the main idea of the cause of athletes choking under pressure. Okay, and then the last thing you do to close your essay is just to leave one last sentence to kind of wrap things up. And here are some ways you can do that. You can give your reader what's called a call to action. This is kind of like a suggestion of how can your readers use this information to solve a problem. So you're calling them to do something with this knowledge that they just learned from you. A similar thing is have them focus on the future. What do you want them to do with this information that you just spent this essay teaching them about? How can they apply it in their life? What would you like them to do now that they know about this fear? Another thing you can close your essay with is a question to leave your reader thinking more about this topic. And finally, you can close your essay with a powerful quote or a statement from the article about how this fear needs to be addressed. So if there was a quote, something someone said in your article, or something that really stood out to you that you think was super powerful, you can close your essay with that. Some things not to do in your conclusion. Don't introduce any new topics or evidence in your conclusion. Don't start going on a tangent about other fears or other things that this fear can do to you, because that's not on topic. That's a different topic, so you're going to leave it out of your conclusion. Your conclusion is just wrapping things up. Don't say things like, now you know about how athletes choke under pressure, because that's not formal writing. You don't need to tell your reader, now you know everything, blah, blah, blah. They already know that. They know it because you've just told them. You don't need to say obvious things like that. And don't repeat your thesis statement word for word. Try to restate it in a different way. So it shouldn't just be copy and pasting. It should be rewording things in a different way, but still wrapping it up. All right, so go ahead, go back to your conclusion and see if you can give it a try. Use this video as a checklist of all the things to do. Come back to it as many times as you need. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.